This is not a normal Ink game video. This video became the most insane video I've ever created. And it all begun when one of you demons decided to comment this insane mission. To beat the game with my only form of manual movement being dancing. But after how much you guys loved my last challenge video, I was blinded by your support and took on this outrageous task. So we're back, but I couldn't do this alone. Toji Fushiguro from my previous videos, alongside Homelander from my last video, will be assisting me. Red light, green light began, and Toji Fushiguro had the genius idea to boost me across the map using Super Push. And with Homelander as medic, there was no way I could fail. Toji had sent me flying, causing this woman to be so stunned from our acrobatics, and so moved by it, she began to run alongside me. But to secure my safety, within this first part of the mission, Homelander rushed Toji over to me, so he could blast me across the map. And with only one minor hiccup, I had secured safety in the first game. But little did I know, this was one of the smallest walls I'd have to climb over in this video. Making it to Dalgona, I had no problems, but for some reason Toji Fushiguro wanted to restrict my movement even more, and trap me in a literal box. Nevertheless, I had made it to my next hurdle lights out. Due to the extremely advanced restrictions on my movement, I had no choice but to hide. Except that was also extremely hard to do, since I literally couldn't make it behind the beds on my own. Luckily, Homelander came to save the day, and sent me flying into the beds, so I was able to hide. However, if I got found, I'd just be a piece of meat, in perfect condition to get sliced up. But I knew this wouldn't happen, as Toji and Homelander were so passionate in completing this challenge. They devoted themselves to protecting me throughout the night, and somehow I, Johnny Chiro, had made it halfway into the game, without even touching WASD. But as smoothly as it seemed to be going, none of us wanted to admit that if this next part went wrong, sacrifices had to be made. I just had to hope that a blue ball would come out of the slot. But life doesn't always give what we want. Homelander got Seeker, so Toji told me to wait at the start. And I had killed Toji Fushiguro. I only made it this far because of him, and even at the end, he devoted his life to me. I wasn't going to let his sacrifice be in vain, but once again, trouble had struck us. My final life support Homelander still hadn't got his kill. I couldn't let Homelander die, so I began searching for a hider, and with only 45 seconds, remaining a hider had ran over me. I frantically began shouting in chat, and luckily Homelander found him. I blocked off the exit to make sure he didn't escape, and with less than 20 seconds remaining, Homelander got his kill. Toji's death wasn't for nothing. Me and Homelander were determined to make it to the end now. And with our determination high, we were at jump rope. So Homelander smoothly carried me across. Now we were at our biggest hurdle out of all the games in Ink Game. Glass Bridge. This game required max precision, as one wrong step could send me straight to my death. And not only this, it's completely impossible without Homelander. But we pushed forward only for a tile to crack besides me. At this moment, it felt like the void was trying to pull me down. But I had allies so me and Homelander kept pushing on. And with Toji's ghost begging for the others to show us the way, human kindness showed its colors, and the rest of the players had shown us the way. But then trouble struck, and I couldn't move. But luckily Homelander saved me, and we had somehow made it all the way past Glass Bridge. And I didn't even touch WASD. But this was not our biggest wall yet. It gets a lot worse, as we had a hacker within our midst. We had ignored it until now, but we were now at the final 5, and there's no way we could ignore it now. The first round of Mingle began, and luckily we got out easy. But once the second round begun, and it was 5 players, it all went wrong. We tried strangling the hacker, but he teleported out, forcing us into last dinner. Me and Homelander felt defeated. We knew we couldn't take the challenge all the way to the final. So here's where I made the tough decision to dedicate my life to ending the hackers, therefore ending the no movement challenge. This is not where the story ends though, because with all the limiters off, we could fight this hacker to the death with all our might. Homelander struck down the hacker, but he struggled, healing himself as he flew away. We didn't falter. We wouldn't call this a loss until we had all died. But unfortunately, the hacker had caught Homelander, forcing me into a 1v1 scenario with him. Toji begged the hacker to let me win, after all we went through so much to get here. I knew how screwed I was, but I wasn't going to let my friend's sacrifices be in vain, after everything we'd gone through. I was going to give my all in this fight, not for myself, but for the people who got me this far. The hacker began his attack strong, teleporting to me to land a strike, but I refused to die like this and struck back. With every attempt he threw, I threw one back. He attacked, I dodged, he attacked, I dodged. And with a brief opening he gave me, I struck back. I began understanding his attack patterns, and chipped at his health once again. The timer was low, and with one punch the hacker was dead. I had beaten all the odds, securing victory for me, Toji Fushiguro, and Homelander.